the SEC, and here come the Bayou Bengals into Jordan-Hare Stadium. Home team had won the last 8 matchups. Jarrett Lee came in off the bench for Andrew Hatch. Oh, picked off by Gabe McKenzie, the former tight end turned defensive end in fall camp. Pick 6, Lee 0 for 5 with that interception in the first half. Auburn cruising 14-3, and then made a how about the lumber Gerard Powers brings on Hatch.
Oh, knocked him down. He had no idea where he was. Look at those eyes.
He was more dazed than some guy watching a Bill Gates, Jerry Seinfeld commercial. Jarrett Lee back in at quarterback, and this time the Texans stood tall. Cut in half, Chris Mitchell. Baseball player and receiver extraordinaire. It's 14-10, and poor Andrew Hatch. Am I still at Harvard? Under 10 seconds left in the third. Trickeration coach Keelan Williams to Demetrius Byrd.
And a great halfback pass. Usually a halfback can't throw the ball that accurately.
Keep your eye on the hat.
Byrd was the guy who caught the winner against Auburn with a second left last year. Now Chris Todd down 20-14. Finds a wide open Tim Hawthorne, 58 yards. Todd 17 of 32 for 250, and Auburn's on the move down 6, 39. Now from the 15, Todd, Robert Dunn, mismatch against Danny McRae. Touchdown Auburn. Tigers up 21-20. Same score under 2 minutes to go. Think the Hat's just playing for a field goal, Mayday?
Nah, not the hat. He's got ball plays under there.
He does. He likes a good superstructure on his hat. Like having Lee find Brandon LaFell. Touchdown LSU. 26-21. Out west for the first time since 1960 to take on Arizona State. Second quarter, Knowshon Moreno. Mark Rick, set your DVR. Here it comes. We're showing the Knowshon leap.
I'll tell you what, this is impressive. He got a 6.8 on by the judges. Beautiful form.
I give him a 10. 6.8. Are you kidding me? Look
Yeah,
at
but you're just a little bit liberal. That's beautiful. I mean, I'll tell you what.
149 yards, couple of touches for Moreno on the day. There is the other one. Georgia up 14-0, and despite the fact it was 99 degrees at kickoff, it was the Dogs who had the Sun Devils wilting in the heat. How about the freshman A.J. Green?
Oh, A.J. Green just having a tremendous year. He's from Somerville, South Carolina. Just makes all kind of plays.
Look at this. A.J. Green again catching the ball in the corner of the end zone, but it was the offensive line that gave Stafford protection in this game.
3-0 against the Volunteers, and jump pass.
That's got to be in everybody's playbook from this point on.
Only if you have Superman at quarterback. Tim Tebow to Aaron Hernandez. Gators up 7-0. Now Brandon James took a punt back against Tennessee last year. Took one back against him 2 years ago that was called back for a penalty. You think the ball would stop kicking to him?
You would stop kicking to him or you tackle. There were 5 missed tackles, but then a lot of people have trouble tackling James.
The big fella in orange on the sideline displeased. Gators up 17-0. Now Tennessee just self-destructed the red zone. 2 times they got inside the Florida 3 and didn't get a point that time when Jonathan Crompton had the ball knocked out of his hands by his own back before he could get it to Arian Foster, and then on the doorstep again just before halftime throws the interception. 3 turnovers in the game, 2 of them in the red zone. It was 20-0. Tebow only threw 15 times, only completed 8 passes, but that one to Percy Harvin for the touchdown, and the Gators cruise by a count after beating the Wolverines last week. Going into Spartan Stadium, Jimmy Clausen throwing into the end zone. Initially, they ruled it incomplete, but this is a spectacular play marked by Otis Weiland.
An outstanding job of going up the highest point, coming down with the interception, and tearing it away from the wide receiver. That's what you have to do as a defensive back.
His feet came down in bounds, too, before he landed out of bounds on his back. It was an interception. Scoring opportunity lost by the Irish. Irish down 3-0. Here's Otis, my man, picking off Jimmy again.
Jimmy doesn't like to throw himself.
Michigan State takes over on 3rd and goal. You know who's getting it. Javon Ring. Sparty up 10-0. What is Sparty growing a mustache? Third quarter, Notre Dame trying to get back in it. Clausen firing a dart. Michael Floyd puts it on the deck, and the men in green all over it. Led to a Michigan State field goal. It's 13-0. Never lost a 4th quarter lead under D'Antonio, and Ringer wants to make sure they don't this time. In a 16-7 game, 63 yards. Ringer goes over 2 bills again. Michigan State wins 23-7. It was last weekend at Ohio State, done in by the men of Troy. Different men of Troy this time. The Trojans from the Sun Belt, school in Alabama. Terrell Pryor getting his first start. He'd already thrown one touchdown pass, and he sends out his Heartline for another.
Oh, just a tremendous throw. You have to be impressed with his vision of Terrell Pryor and the strength of his arm and his enthusiasm for the game.
Troy, though, coming back, Jamie Hampton to Jarrell Jernigan, and he's going to slice through the Buckeyes and go 45, and it's a 14-10 game into the third quarter. Troy's still in it at the Horseshoe. Not a capacity crowd. Crowd not really pleased a few times. Buckeyes forced to punt. Now, look, Jernigan waves off his teammates. This is the turning point of the game. The spectacular punt and great coverage. Let it roll dead. Trojans then would be forced to punt and give Pryor great field position. We find Brian Rubisky.
Oh, the separation between line and quarterback opens this play up, and Rubisky makes a great catch at both.
Ohio State 28-10. Pryor played 54 to 56 snaps. Todd Beckman only 2. East Carolina against North Carolina State. ECU trying to go 4-0 on the season. Oh, a little mocking of that Wolfpack motion that they do. Norman Whitley bursting through the middle. The Pirates are on top 21-14. It's now 21-17. East Carolina trying to shut the door. 4th and goal. Skip went for a touchdown, Lou.
Well, he went for a touchdown, but it doesn't help if you don't block. And they got penetration on it, threw him for a 5-yard loss.
It was a huge, huge stop by North Carolina State. Throwing into the end zone. Pinckney couldn't quite get it to Jamar Bryant. Remember, those two hooked up for the winner against Tulane last week, and angst on the face of East Carolina fans. And Russell Wilson found George Bryan. They initially ruled it incomplete, but made another look.
Oh, terrific job by Bryan. Look at his hands. Scoops it in. His hands are underneath the ball. Brings it into his belly. It's a touchdown. NC State.
And that's what replay showed. Tied at 24. They gave him the touchdown. We go to overtime. Now East Carolina's first possession. Pinckney does not feel the heat. Shea McKean knocks it loose. Willie Young comes up with it. Now all North Carolina State needs is a field goal to end the Pirates' BCS dream. Look at Andre Brown going on. No Sean Marino. Chase Kaufman on the people. North Carolina State with a chance to win it. 1st and goal. Want to leave it in the hands of your kicker?
No.
In unison, in chorus, in perfect harmony. And Andre Brown gives North Carolina State the win. 30-24. ECU's BCS dreams coming to an end. But BYU is apparently live and well. The Heisman winner, former Heisman winner, Ty Detmer leading the Cougars out against Wyoming. Old Dax Crum, that's a backwards pass. It turned out to be a crummy play for Wyoming because while a lot of BYU's guys didn't realize it was a live ball, Scott Johnson did. BYU goes up 7-0, and then Max Hall to Austin College.
And he's been hot the entire month. And Max Hall last week, 7 touchdown passes, 6 in the first half. Here he hooks up with Austin College, 3 touchdowns on a day. That's 10 touchdown passes in the last 2 games.
Got 15 on the season. You realize since that Jake Locker celebration penalty, BYU at Washington, BYU went on a 103-0 scoring run against UCLA and Wyoming. I think it aggravated them. Utah against Air Force. Air Force and lost a home game since he used last, beat them in November of 2006. Now, Brian Johnson, watch Chris Thomas deflect this ball, and Reggie Revert comes up with a pick.
What a sweet play.
Oh, that was spectacular teamwork by the Falcons, but Darrell Mack gets loose. He was a workhorse for the Utes, Luke.
Just a tremendous back. And it's awful hard to beat the Air Force at home, as you mentioned before. But with a guy like Mack running the football, that gives you your best chance.
There's a Pontiac game-changing nominee, the go-ahead touchdown that proved to be the winning one. Mack had 13 yards in the first half, but finished Buffalo and Missouri. Derek Washington, the running back, taking the direct snap. Finished with 89 yards on the day. Mizzou up 7-0. Chase Daniel giving it to Jeremy Macklin. Macklin putting a little more on the resume reel. How about Chase Daniel setting a Big 12 record? He completed 20 consecutive passes.
He's been on fire the entire season. He's one of the leaders for the Heisman Trophy right here. And look at, how about this? Macklin gets stripped. Keep an eye on Chase Daniel. You don't strip my buddy of the ball.
Daniel levels him out of bounds. Missouri, it's about the only thing they did wrong. They had a couple of miscues. Daniel throwing for a career-high 439 yards. Missouri wins at 42-21, a little closer than some expected. Colt McCoy has been razor-sharp, 44-58, 504 yards, 7 touchdowns on the season coming in. You know, if not for Vince Young, we'd be talking about what a great runner Colt McCoy is.
Well, he is just a tremendous athlete, but he's been that way since he's been a freshman. He stepped in and replaced Vince Young and did an incredible job then.
How about the trickeration? McCoy finds a wide-open Jordan Shipley, 19 of 23, 329, 4 touchdowns. Texas rolls 52. Trying to remain unbeaten late in the first quarter, 1st and 10. Ducks wearing one of the alternate uniforms. LeGarrette Blunt, jump for Mark Richt. Blunt had 99 yards on the day.
I'm going to call you.
Blunt has just been burning it up.
Oh, that's sweet, though.
These guys pretty soon are just going to start standing up, and that is not going to be pleasant for the leaper. Oregon, they often go for too early to try to catch off guard. It didn't work that time. They were up 6-0. Now it's 24-13. Kellen Moore finds Vinny Peretta, Lou.
Well, he just had a tremendous game. He threw for 386 yards, and he's a redshirt freshman.
Thomas. Oregon brought their young quarterback in, the third one of the day. Darren Thomas tried to lead a comeback, 13 of 25, 210 yards, and the Ducks got within 5. Onside kick. Ask Oklahoma how dicey that can be in Autzen Stadium. Austin Pettis of Boise State recovers it. Their first road win against a BCS team, 37-32. Razorbacks among the national leaders in freshman play. Nick Saban, Bobby Petrino, both evacuees from the NFL and glad to be back in college. And Glenn Coffey, 87 yards.
A terrific job of following Andre Smith, the backside cutoff. And look at him, the piano's on his back. Will he get there? He does. 87 yards for the score. Nice run. That's Coffey spelled out the ground.
Coffey, 10 carries, 163 yards. Now Alabama already up 14-0, and Javier Arenas is dangerous as a punt returner and also pretty dangerous as an interception returner.
I cannot imagine why the quarterback would throw it there. I'd love to talk to Casey Dick about this one.
Well, when you chat with him, perhaps you could ask him why he threw this one too. Pick 6, Justin Woodall. Alabama intercepted 4 passes on the day. Woodall taking this one back 70 yards. And fellas on the Alabama defense, a pretty good job stuffing Arkansas too, right at the goal line late in the half. Mount Cody in there, 365 pounds of the big fella. There he is, 49-14. And get closer to bowl eligibility, a place they haven't been since 1982. First quarter, Commodores down 10-0. Jevin Snead had a tough night. Ryan Hamilton, the pick. Hamilton had a huge game. I think he's destined for a helmet sticker. He had 3 interceptions in the game. Vanderbilt trails 10-7. Chris Nixon down 17-7, finds Jared Hawkins. We got a wild one in the early going. Vanderbilt down 3, 17-14. Now Vanderbilt had taken the lead at 20-17, but here comes the wild rebel formation. Dexter McCluster. Oof. Fumble. It's loose, and show your gold. Have fun, expect to win. Vanderbilt is 2-0 in the SEC, 4-0 after beating Ole Miss 23. See how things have changed in the ACC. Now Wake Forest talks smack. Chip Vaughn said, I really can't stand Florida State. Devontae Richardson came in and replaced Christian Ponder, who'd thrown a couple of picks in the first half, so Richardson threw a pick in the second half. In fact, Florida State turned the ball over a whole bunch, but Wake couldn't put it away. Their terrific kicker, Sam Swank, missed 3 times, and Grove in disbelief. Mickey Andrews pleased. First play after the missed field goal. Richardson to a wide-open Aaron Curry. I want to give you guys some numbers for Wake Forest's last 2 trips to Tallahassee against Florida State. They've now won both of them. In those games, Florida State has committed 11 turnovers, had 21 penalties, and scored 3 points. Wake Forest 12-3. Florida State's got issues. Virginia Tech and North Carolina. Brandon Tate has been spectacular. Tar Heels trying to start 3-0 for the first time since '97. TJ Yates to Tate.
Boy, just tremendous move there to get open.
Later in the game, Yates, fine quarterback, taken off the field for x-rays, would not return in this game. Virginia Tech trying to rally. Once down 17-3, now 17-10, Kenny Lewis.
Nice job by Kenny Lewis. Get to the edge in the corner, turn on his speed, gets it in.
Under 2 minutes to go. Virginia Tech has taken a 3-point lead. Mike Paulus, the brother of Duke point guard Greg Paulus, the Pontiac game-changing nominee, Stephon Virgil. With the pick, Paulus' second interception of the game, and Beamer's team comes back. ACC Coastal big game, they win it by 3. Georgia Tech and Mississippi State. Sylvester Croom's team coming off a 3-2 loss to Auburn. There is the worst shotgun snap in the history of football, Mark.
Oh, it wasn't that bad.
Yes,
oh, yes, it was. You're right, it was.
It not only was too high, it was off to the right.
He couldn't do that if he tried.
I'm sure he wasn't trying to do so. Jabo Shaw, who was in for an injured Josh Nesbitt, finds Demarius Thomas. That was a great throw by Jabo because he got cut in half as he let it go. 21-0, and it would get worse. Jonathan Dwyer. Georgia Tech just ran roughshod. 88-yard run, longest touchdown run in Georgia Tech history, as Dwyer puts it on Mississippi State, and they roll easily over the Dogs, 38-7. Georgia Tech now 3-1 with a close loss to Virginia Tech. Clemson gets things going, but it was South Carolina State. Iowa and Pittsburgh, there's the real Shady. All the other Shadys are just imitators. Shady McCoy, first meeting between Pittsburgh and Iowa in 56 years, and LaShawn McCoy's goal.
What a terrific job out of Sean McCoy. But the ball should be in the other hand, but still, he scored the touchdown.
I think Pittsburgh fans will forgive him. 21-20 game, under a minute to go. Jake Christensen trying to make something happen, and the Pittsburgh defense comes up large. Fumbles as he's tackled. They tried to review it. It stood, and the Juan Stash with a big one. 21-20. Over Iowa. Pittsburgh now 2-1. Central Michigan and Purdue. This game was a thriller. Dan Lefevre to Ontario Sneed. Ontario Sneed in the fourth quarter brings Central Michigan within 1, and Butch Jones is going to go for 2. You like the call, Coach?
Well, there's only a minute and 10 seconds. Yeah, I like the call because you're away from home. You may not be as good as Purdue, but you win or lose it on one play, they win it. Hey, the game's over. Oh, no, wait.
Well, they thought they'd won it, but then Corey Sheets runs basically unimpeded 46 yards.
What a sweet move in the open field. And look at Corey Sheets down the sidelines for the victory, the score. Purdue will hold down, but look at this move.
There is a support device on the turf. Please, someone return to claim it. 32-25. Lefevre, who had his team in position to win all day, throws into traffic. Dwight McKeon with the pick, and Purdue hangs on. 32-20. Fresno State and Toledo. Bulldogs still ranked after a disappointing loss to Wisconsin at home. First quarter scoreless. It wouldn't remain that way long. Aaron Opel, the pass in and out of the hands of Nick Moore. Ben Jacobs picks it up. It's a touchdown for Fresno State. It was ruled a backward pass at 7-0. Now we pick it up 41-38. Toledo trying the onside kick. Desmond Merrill recovers. Toledo keeps the ball, and they've got another chance. 19 seconds left. Toe meets leather. Alex Steigerwald sets a new MAC record with 20 straight field goals tied at 41. First play of overtime. Trickeration from Toledo Tom and the Rockets. Stephen Williams hauls it in, brought down at the 1. Rockets to score on the next play to go up 48-41. Second overtime, Toledo down 55-48, fourth and goal. Opel, John Allen, touchdown. Toledo down 1. They don't have to go for 2 yet. That's the third overtime. But Tom Amstutz roll the dice, spin that wheel of fortune, and it comes up snake eyes. 55-54, Fresno State hangs on to embarrassment last weekend. Bruins coming off that 59-0 loss. Arizona lost to New Mexico. Willie Tuatama, Rob Gronkowski, one of the best tight ends in the country, and Zona's up 10-7. Those two hook up again. Second time on the day. Arizona wins it by a count of 30. Rutgers and Navy. The Naval Academy wins this game. John McCain, by the way, in attendance. His son is at the Naval Academy, and he's also celebrating a reunion. Navy won the game. Mike Teal threw an interception late, but the story here is what happens at the end of the game. Teal ends up slapping teammate Glenn Lee. Lou, how would you handle this? I mean,
you don't put your hands on another teammate. That's absolutely a no-no.
Great. Two of the top 5 teams in the old 1AA. Number 1, App State on the road against James Madison at one point by halftime. James Madison was down 21-0, but they're on the comeback trail. A little fake. Everybody bent. Rodney Landers, Griff Yancey, and all of a sudden it's a 24-21 game. Fourth quarter, same score. The comeback is complete. Eugene Holloman. The stadium's rocking. You might as well come knocking for an upset. James Madison, 35-32.